Hi, and thank you for joining us here at Tax Talk UK, where we talk about all things tax and also consider other important aspects of working for yourself, being self-employed, running a small business. So today we're going to talk about UTRs, unique tax references. Before I start on that, if I could please ask you to take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you'll easily be able to refer back to this information if you should need to, as well as being able to find other information that we have available on a whole host of different topics, all aimed at supporting you in your self-employment. You can find those that other information catalogued in our playlist. So if you go to the playlist section of our channel, and then look for the trading style or the topic that is relevant to what you're looking for, and there you will find the information that is available, all free and available to support you in your self-employment. So back then to UTRs, so unique tax reference numbers. So we've been asked quite a few questions about UTRs recently, so we thought it would be sensible to just cover that. So a UTR is a unique tax reference number. So you will remember from other videos that we've done that there's basically two almost separate tax systems. We have the PAYE tax system for employees, where your tax is deducted, and that's managed via a tax code. And then we have the self-assessment tax system, where you submit your self-assessment tax return, and that is how your liability is calculated. So the PAYE system is managed through the national insurance numbers. So everybody it should get a national insurance number when they reach the age of 16 automatically, regardless of whether that person is working or not. UTR is slightly different. So you don't automatically get issued a UTR. You have to notify HMRC if you need a UTR, and then at that point you will be issued one. But in the same way as a national insurance number, once you are issued a UTR number, that will be your UTR number forever. It doesn't change. So for example, if you register as a sole trader for the first time and you're issued with a UTR number, and then perhaps you stop doing that and then you start doing something else, maybe PAYE, so you don't need a UTR number, but then you revert in the future again to being self-employed or need a UTR number for some other purpose, then the UTR number that you originally were allocated will still be your UTR number. So once you have been issued, that will always be your UTR number. Now, a lot of the source of confusion is which UTR are you needing. So as an individual, you will, if needed, and if you notify HMRC, you will be issued a UTR that's unique to you as an individual, as a person. So if you then decide to be self-employed, that UTR number will be the same, because as I've already mentioned, once you have a UTR, then that will always be your UTR. So if you have a UTR issued, perhaps you are a private landlord with rental income to declare. So for that reason, you notify HMRC that you need to do a self-assessment tax return, and they issue you a personal UTR. Then if, for example, in the future, you decide to register as a sole trader, and because you're going to be trading and working as self-employed, then the UTR number that was already issued to you will be the same UTR. So as an individual, you don't get a separate UTR for different sources. It's one unique tax reference number that if you think about it as that attaches to your self-assessment tax return, then that is an easier way to think about it. Now, if you are trading as a micro-entity limited company, then you will remember that a limited company is creating a separate entity. So the business as a limited company is separate from the individual, and therefore the limited company is issued its own UTR number that is individual to that company. Again, it will be valid. It will be the UTR number that belongs to that company for the lifetime of that company. But if you, for example, started a different limited company, then that company would have its own UTR number. So the unique tax reference number is unique to whoever it's been issued to. So if it's issued to a limited company, it's unique to that limited company. If it's issued to an individual, it's unique to that individual. And that is where a lot of the confusion has arisen in the questions that we've received. Now, the other circumstances where you may have a separate UTR is if you are operating as a partnership. So you will remember, if you are trading as a partnership, effectively it's very similar to being a sole trader to all intents and purposes, but you're doing that jointly with somebody else. So the partnership is formed, and that partnership has its own UTR number. So in the case of a partnership, the partnership would have a UTR, and the partners would have their own UTRs and their unique tax reference numbers. So this is why it's just important to think which UTR are you actually referring to, and which, if you're needing to provide it for something, which UTR are you being asked for? And of course, if you're not sure, then just clarify. So just to recap then, an individual will have a UTR number, so that would cover any income that needs to be reported on a self-assessment tax return, including operating as a sole trader, so being a director and having income, a shareholder and having dividends to report, being a private landlord and having rental income to report, being a sole trader. All of those things would fall under the remit of you as an individual, and that would be your personal UTR number. As a limited company, the limited company would have its own UTR number that's unique to the company, but as a shareholder and having to submit your dividends on your personal tax return that you have from the company, that is your personal income, not the company's income. And in that scenario, your personal UTR number would be relevant. And if you are trading as a partnership, then the partnership overall would have its own UTR number, and each of the partners would have their own UTR number. So hopefully this helps to clarify which UTR number that you're being asked for. Of course, if it's a return, then that's really easy because it's whoever you're doing the return for. If you're doing a return for a limited company, it's going to be the company's UTR. If you're doing a personal return, then it's going to be your personal UTR. If you're doing a partnership return, it's going to be the partnership UTR. If the circumstances that you're needing the UTR isn't clear, then you just need to clarify which UTR is required. And just to touch very briefly on CIS, because this is something that we covered in the CIS video, but if you are registered as a subcontractor and you're giving your UTR to a contractor, it's really important to be thinking about which trading is the subcontractor, and who is registered for CIS, and that you give that UTR number to your contractor. So hopefully this helps to clarify which UTR number that you're looking for, and the circumstances where you would have different UTR numbers available. And thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. And if you find the information helpful, please do take a moment to like the video. Thank you very much. Goodbye.